Good evening. There are fewer of these in the air tonight. WestJet has announced it has begun parking some of its planes ahead of a potential labor disruption this weekend.
Flight attendants could walk off the job early Sunday, leaving those with plans to fly on edge. CTV's Beth McDonnell is live tonight at Pearson Airport with the latest. Beth?
Pauline, Nathan, the strike deadline issued by CUPE, the union representing 4,400 WestJet flight attendants, runs out Sunday morning. That means travelers could be running out of time to make other plans before major disruptions. WestJet customers are nervous, whether they're flying shortly before the deadline.
We changed our flight for today, and we're going one way to Vancouver.
Or need to be back home later this month.
We're going to the Philippines. We're only there for 2 weeks. We have no news if that's going to affect our flight.
This afternoon, an update from the airline. The company says negotiations haven't resulted in an agreement, and it must begin the difficult process of parking Boeing 737 planes. This necessary step allows the airline to maintain operational control and protect the integrity of the broader network. Most importantly, this proactive measure minimizes the risk of stranding guests and aircraft. WestJet is allowing passengers between now and Tuesday to cancel their flights or make one-time changes to their bookings.
So if you're someone who needs to catch a cruise, whether it be in Florida or Europe or wherever, and you need to get there, I would probably book a fully refundable flight or find alternative methods just to get there. If you're a week out, yeah, you could probably sit and wait for a few more days.
The cabin crew's main sticking points are over wages and compensation for work when planes are not in the air.
You have to report at the airport an hour before the flight leaves. When you get on the plane, you have to do checks that are mandated by Transport Canada. So these are making sure that all of the safety equipment on the plane is working. Then you have boarding, and during boarding, we're briefing passengers. There's lots and lots of things. You're not paid for the time that you're sitting in between flights.
Air Canada flight attendants went on strike last year for the same reason, the dispute affecting 500,000 passengers. But not all hope is lost. Having a deadline when parties are far apart can allow for the right conditions for a deal, says this labor expert.
The way that it should work is that deadline creates that pressure cooker environment and creates the incentive to sort of knock your heads together and overcome your differences.
Passengers ready to board planes today are feeling relieved.
Yeah, it would be a nightmare if I got it after.
Happy to be on their way before flights could be canceled. The union says progress is being made and it still hopes to avoid a strike. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Pauline, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to pack the lakeshore tomorrow for the annual Caribbean Carnival Grand Parade. It's
the main event of the carnival, but now some security concerns are being raised because of a mass shooting at another summer festival in this city just weeks ago. Toronto police say they've got a plan to keep people safe. CTV's Janice Golding is live tonight at Lamport Stadium. And Janice, you've been talking to people who are ready to have some fun this weekend, and you can hear it in the background.
That's for sure. As you can hear, Nathan, rehearsal is underway for Toronto Panorama, which will kick off here at Lamport Stadium in a little under an hour, part of a big weekend of festivities planned for the annual Toronto Caribbean Carnival, a festival Toronto police say they're determined to keep safe.
Beautiful costumes and beautiful music at Lamport Stadium last night. The annual King and Queen Showcase kicking off the Toronto Caribbean Carnival.
Toronto Panorama is happening tonight, which is the Steel Pan Showcase. They call it the World Cup of Steel Pan.
And today, Lamport Stadium is being prepped to host Toronto Panorama, where 7 steel pan orchestras will compete for the championship title.
We are all happy people. Happy to just celebrate our culture, the steel pan, the mass, the calypso.
All fun festivities leading up to the main event, the Grand Parade, which will take place tomorrow along the lakeshore. The event draws 1 million or more spectators from around the world every year.
We have reviewed our operational plans, enhanced security measures where appropriate, and we'll have a strong, visible police presence at carnival events throughout the downtown core and waterfront.
Given this year's carnival is happening just weeks after the mass shooting at the Salsa on St. Clair Street Festival, Toronto police are trying to reassure the public, saying they have a robust plan to make sure events are safe, with officers to be deployed across key locations.
And this year we're going to have 2 drones that are going to be up on the parade route in major parts of the city that will have aerial observation to make sure that we know what is happening with the crowd, the dynamics.
The Grand Parade actually has quite a good safety record given its size. While there have been a few fatal or serious incidents on parade day, overall it has largely passed without major incidents.
It's a rare occasion. It doesn't happen, a lot, so I'm not worried about that.
Oh, no.
And you've been going for how many years?
Since the inception, since what?
So for decades.
50-something years.
Heightened security is always a plus because you never know what's going to happen. But again, I don't anticipate or vision any sort of violence.
So while police prepare for large crowds and public safety, revelers are preparing to enjoy a cultural celebration that's been held in our city since 1967.
And police are reminding people to stay alert, saying cell phone and distraction style thefts are the most common crimes that you'll see at large-scale events like this. So please stay aware of your own surroundings, and if you do see anything suspicious, you are urged to approach a police officer. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Pauline.
Thanks, Janice. And there's lots more going on across the GTA this long weekend, from food to music. We'll show you some of the other options for weekend fun coming up.
And we have more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. Here's a live shot. A great-looking evening as we head into the long weekend, and still really hot out there, maybe a little bit cooler by the water. And lots happening this weekend as well. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison with a look at current things. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Nathan. And yeah, I have found it especially hot today in the direct sun. And of course, that's often the case. But as expected, we've got a few showers and thunderstorms developing across parts of southern, southwestern Ontario, around Stratford, London, as well as the north end of the Kitchener-Waterloo area. So severe thunderstorm warning in place for parts of southwest Ontario. Those could drift closer to the GTA over the next couple of hours. It is hot out there, 30 degrees, feels like 31 right now, so not as humid as it was a little earlier this afternoon. Winds have changed direction. They are now coming out of the south. Your evening looks like this. Should be dry, isolated showers again possible in parts of the city of Toronto and surrounding GTA. Warm tonight with an overnight low of 20 degrees. And yes, we do have some wet weather to talk about. We will discuss coming up in your long weekend weather forecast. But for now, Pauline, I'm going to send it over to you.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. Quick work by firefighters kept an afternoon house fire from spreading. Fire broke out just after noon at a home on Brock Avenue near College and Lansdowne. That fire was quickly upgraded to a 2-alarm blaze. Fire Chief Jim Jessup says crews battled challenging heat to quickly contain the fire and protect neighboring homes. No one was injured, and officials say 2 cats were rescued.
A woman was taken to hospital following an overnight shooting in Scarborough. Police were called to a parking lot near Morningside in Lawrence just after 3. They found the woman suffering from a gunshot wound. She was taken to hospital with minor injuries. Police have not given any information about possible suspects.
A man convicted in the 1980 murder of a Toronto police officer has been arrested while out on parole in Victoria. Victoria police confirmed to CTV that Craig Monroe has been taken into custody and his parole has been revoked. It's unclear whether he's facing any new charges. Monroe was convicted of first-degree murder in 1981 for killing Constable Michael Sweet during a robbery on Queen Street West. Monroe was sentenced to life in prison but was granted parole 2 days ago.
A man in his 50s has been taken to hospital following a motorcycle crash in Roncesvalles. It happened just after 2:30 a.m. near Roncesvalles and the Queensway. The man was taken to a trauma center with serious injuries. The cause of the crash is still under investigation.
Charges have been laid in connection with a crash 2 weeks ago caught on dash cam footage. Dash cam video taken on Highway 2A near Meadowvale shows a Lamborghini being followed by a Mercedes. The Mercedes eventually crashes into a pickup truck. The 15-year-old driver of the Mercedes and a 24-year-old passenger suffered life-threatening injuries, while 2 people in the truck suffered minor injuries. The Lamborghini driver left the scene. 42-year-old Akil Haywood has been charged with stunt driving, leaving the scene of an accident, and dangerous driving, causing bodily harm.
The OPP will be carrying out aerial traffic enforcement over the long weekend. The campaign, which is already underway, will focus on highways in Peterborough, Kawartha Lakes, Dufferin County, Caledon, Orillia, and Northumberland County. Pilots will be looking for speeding, aggressive driving, and impaired driving. They will then relay potential violations to police on the ground. The OPP says it's seen an increase in reports of dangerous and high-risk driving across Ontario in the past few years.
We have seen an increase of fatalities this year over last year. 210 people dead already this year in car crashes across the province, up from 180 the same period last year. So we're going in the wrong direction.
Last August, Civic Long Weekend make that, the OPP laid 3,500 speeding charges and just over 200 impaired driving charges.
A new poll from Forum Research suggests the arrival of a new high-profile candidate in Toronto's mayoral race has shifted support for the two frontrunners. Former Conservative Cabinet Minister Chris Alexander registered to run for mayor on Wednesday. That same day, Forum asked a random sample of Torontonians who they would vote for. Alexander received 11% support, while Olivia Chow received 47% support, down from 48% if Alexander was not an option. Brad Bradford got 32% support, down from 35%.
Bradford's not really been prosecuting the case against Chow. His numbers have been pretty flat for a long period of time. You know, he got a bump when Tory was out for sure, and he got that kind of bump when other people are out. But he hasn't really grown his own base. And like I say, it tells me that he hasn't really taken the argument to Chow. And Chow has a massive record. She's been in politics for 41 years. Who has that kind of political baggage? Almost nobody. But he has not been effective in prosecuting the case against her.
The poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 4%.
The FIFA fallout continues tonight as opposition grows to a plan for privatization. The organization's president lost his closest advisor, who says the deal is bad for football. We'll have the latest in just a few minutes.
The federal government has given the green light for the Crawford Nickel project in Northern Ontario. It's part of Ottawa's effort to fast-track major projects. In her statement confirming the approval, Environment Minister Julie DeBruzen says the potential environmental effects are justified when taking into account the benefits the project will provide. It's an open-pit nickel cobalt mine and on-site metal mill about 40 kilometers north of Timmins. The company has already signed agreements with First Nations in the area.
We would be the Western world's largest nickel sulfide operation if we were fully ramped up today. We'll generate $70 billion in GDP impact over the 40-year life of the mine. There will be thousands of high-paying, high-skilled jobs that we'll be creating. And the great thing about what we have in Timmins, we have a whole series of deposits just like Crawford that once Crawford gets going, we're looking for this to become one of the world's largest nickel districts.
Canada Nickel says if plans proceed as expected, the Crawford mine could be processing ore by 2029.
Turning to the latest on the wildfires in Northern Ontario. The province says 5 new fires were confirmed in the northeast region yesterday for a total of 45 burning there. 9 are out of control. 115 fires are burning in the northwest, with 2 new ones confirmed Thursday. Natural Resources Minister Mike Harris sidestepped questions about calls for a public inquiry into the province's wildfire response, saying a review will take place, but the findings may not become public. But he says the province is sparing no expense to protect Ontarians and notes so far there's been no loss of life because of the fires. In British Columbia, evacuation orders remain in and around Boston Bar because of the Brunswick Creek wildfire, still burning out of control. But as damage assessments take place in hard-hit areas, the local district has launched an online tool that allows people to see if their properties or businesses are okay. Fire officials say water is back on and power has been restored to emergency services. Residents are urged to stay out of evacuation zones and keep an eye on the latest alerts, as conditions can quickly change.
In Spain, the battle against wildfires continues as the 4th heat wave of the summer rolls on. More than 1,000 people have been forced to flee from the northwestern parts of the country, with the military working to extinguish 3 separate fires in the area. The Spanish Prime Minister has called the crisis extreme, saying there are at least 10 active wildfires that are causing concern. Meanwhile, firefighters in France are continuing their efforts to extinguish thousands of hotspots left by a major wildfire that ravaged forests in western parts of the country. Aerial footage shows smoke still rising and firefighting aircraft dropping water over the burned landscape. French authorities say weather conditions have helped them calm the situation, allowing more than 140,000 residents to return home. But officials warn firefighters will remain deployed for now. Now to the world of soccer, where opposition is mounting against FIFA's controversial plan to sell stakes in the World Cup to private investors.
The Asian Football Confederation says it stands in solidarity with the soccer governing bodies of Europe and North America in blasting the move. CTV's Joy Malbin explains the growing controversy and what could come next.
After the world celebrated the passion of football, FIFA is now in a fight over money and control. President Gianni Infantino's plan to sell World Cup profits to private investors is facing a major backlash. His closest advisor, Carlos Cordeiro, resigned in protest, calling it a bad deal for football. A second FIFA official, Chief Operating Officer Kevin Lamour, says staff were deceived and members never consulted. And Europe's governing soccer body, UEFA, declared the World Cup is not for sale. All 55 member nations voted unanimously to boycott FIFA competition until the plan is pulled.
Nobody wants to boycott any game of football, never mind a World Cup game. But we've been pushed into this by a proposal that was so damaging it could have dismantled the whole infrastructure of the game.
Also raising red flags, potential lead investor Joshua Kushner, younger brother of Jared, President Donald Trump's son-in-law and close advisor.
Did FIFA or Mr. Infantino speak to you about their proposal to sell a stake in the World Cup? No, I never spoke to him.
If Gianni pushes ahead, critics argue that commercializing the World Cup will tarnish the beautiful game.
This is another example of terrible governance within FIFA, but I think this time Infantino and FIFA have got a step too far.
Facing a revolt and a deadline of September 19th, FIFA's president is offering members a payout of $20 million if they agree to bring private investors into World Cup business. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Spain says it is partially reversing a rush of migrants into one of its territories on Africa's north coast. The rush prompted alarm from fellow European countries. This was the scene as migrants crossed the border between Morocco and Spanish enclave Ceuta. Spain's government said around 50,000 people had crossed the border since Thursday morning, with local officials putting the number closer to 60,000. The Interior Ministry now says more than 37,000 people have since headed back, and at least 57 bodies have been recovered in the areas where mass crossings took place. France said it would increase checks on its border with Spain, and Italy threatened to suspend Spain from the EU's open border agreement.
As he hosted a cabinet meeting at Camp David this afternoon, U.S. President Donald Trump weighed in on the status of talks between his country and Iran.
Well, I think we just want to win. You know, we just want to win. We're doing very well. We're trying to be nice as you can be in, a situation like that. But, they're being decimated. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft. Doesn't mean they don't have any capability. They have some, but very little. We just want to win.
Overnight, Iran's Revolutionary Guard said it launched strikes against an American air base in Kuwait. Iranian officials say the strikes targeted U.S. fighter jet shelters and satellite communication systems. They described the attack as retaliation for U.S. airstrikes a day earlier that killed 3 Iranian soldiers. Kuwait's military says it struck down several drones, blaming the attack on Iranian aggression. At the same time, U.S. officials are trying to find the source of a wave of cyber attacks that targeted dozens of water systems in Minnesota. There were no reports of any serious impacts on residents, but one city asked people to conserve water while they investigated the issue. The FBI and other agencies last week issued a warning that Iranian hackers had been targeting critical infrastructure. Officials haven't specified who they think the culprit is in this case.
As the U.S. and Iran trade blows, Donald Trump says a proposed deal is in place that could reshape the future of the Gaza Strip. The U.S. president outlined details on social media, writing in part, "The Board of Peace reached a historic agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and all other armed groups in Gaza. This is a monumental step toward lasting peace and security." He went on to say the agreement will be carried out in carefully structured phases as disarmament is completed. Israeli forces will withdraw, and the International Stabilization Force will work with a new Palestinian police force to take responsibility for Gaza being safe for its residents and its neighbors. Some Palestinians expressed little hope this morning that the deal would be leading to peace. The plan would see the Iran-backed militant group give up its stockpile of guns, eliminate tunnels, and stop weapons production. It also calls on Israel to end its attacks in Gaza and withdraw its forces to where they stood in October. A Hamas official says they've reached an agreement on disarming, but Israel has yet to say if it accepts the deal after previously saying it was intent on destroying the militant group.
Hamas, with 20,000 fighters and the strongest single political presence in the Gaza Strip, will not simply evaporate under these conditions. What I think Donald Trump and the Board of Peace are hoping for is that this new expert panel of Palestinians, which is yet to step foot into Gaza, will somehow take over the vacuum. That remains to be seen.
A Board of Peace official says the proposed process could take more than 300 days to implement. And Prime Minister Mark Carney said the proposed deal, if accepted and implemented, could be an important step towards peace and security. He added in a statement, "As one of the largest donors to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and the West Bank, Canada stands ready to contribute to this effort. We remain committed to a just and lasting resolution to the Israel-Palestine conflict based on a negotiated two-state solution in which Israel and Palestinian people can live in peace, security, and dignity."
Closer to home, the countdown is on to a major change affecting how some TTC riders pay their fares. August will be the last month that most TTC riders can purchase a monthly pass. The system is switching to a fare capping policy as of September 1st. That means frequent riders will be charged a maximum of 47 fares per calendar month on the same payment method. After that, they can tap in for free for the rest of the month. The transit agency says adult 12-month pass subscribers and post-secondary monthly pass holders should keep using those passes as they provide the best value. And still to come tonight, an AI Anthropic is investigating after its artificial intelligence software went rogue during product testing and hacked into several companies. We'll have the latest details.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, many of us are turning to AI tools to answer questions that can help us with our jobs, recommend movies, or research purchasing a car. But people are also asking AI questions about their health, and there are some concerns. I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
We are in the final hours of July, and I think many of us will remember the month for being hot. Canada Day was 36 degrees. July 14th was almost 37 degrees. Now, generally, August is slightly cooler, and the days become slightly shorter, too. We get roughly 70 millimeters of rain, and we are looking at some wet weather this weekend, but it might just hold off for the Grand Parade tomorrow. Stay with us. Your long weekend weather forecast is next.
AI is changing the way many of us get our information, and chatbots can be a good way to find data on a wide range of issues.
But more people are also using AI tools to ask questions about their health, and some experts say that could lead to problems. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat?
Thanks, Pauline and Nathan. Many of us have used Google in the past to look up medical ailments, but often you would get links to sources and do your own research. With AI, the answers are generated in seconds and appear to be a human response, but the information may not be correct. Need health advice? AI chatbots such as ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and Google Gemini promise detailed answers in seconds. One survey found 17% of adults ask AI chatbots health questions at least once a month.
There are a lot of reasons you might go to a chatbot for answers.
The chatbots can answer health questions and sound convincing.
They can be quite good at generating a lot of information, and they're very comprehensive and easy to understand.
But experts say these chatbots aren't always reliable. They can make up facts or mix up important details while confidently presenting their answers as correct information.
Fabrications can be hard to detect. It's really hard to know when there are inaccuracies, and these systems do get things wrong. We know that to be true.
People tend to overtrust AI-generated medical advice, a recent study found. Many respondents couldn't tell the difference between an AI-generated answer and one from a real doctor. And there are privacy concerns, too.
AI systems are not bound by the same privacy laws that your doctor's office is.
So whatever information you tell a chatbot could be used, sold, or even stolen in a data breach. The best advice, use AI as a starting point for information, not for diagnosis or treatment. Keep your sensitive personal health information private, and always verify what you learn using trusted sources or a recognized medical organization. And of course,
if you do have questions that are going to affect how you act on your own health, talk to your doctor.
And chatbots should never be used in a medical emergency. Always call 911. The new technology has its place, but should not be relied on completely, which could put your health at risk. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
And Lindsay is back with us now. We're talking about the weather, and of course, everybody wants to know what's happening for the long weekend, especially if you've got outdoor plans.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do. It is an important weekend in the summer. I wish I was forecasting 3 days of perfect sunshine and dry weather, but here's the thing. We do have some rain in the forecast for this weekend. It's mainly going to impact your Sunday, so we could be dry a good portion of tomorrow, and Monday looks great too. Today, excellent. We had gorgeous sunshine, and this was the view from high above the Kawartha Lakes region. This specifically is Shamong Lake, which is north of Peterborough, and perhaps this is one of the areas that folks are venturing out to for the long weekend. It's such a beautiful spot, as mentioned, but we also have some active weather to talk about even right now before we get into that big low pressure system, including severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. I can see them just changing in parts of northern Ontario right now, but I do want to talk about, again, stormy weather around the city of London, over towards Stratford, between Elmira and Mount Forest. There's also some thunderstorm, or at the very least some showers starting to develop around Stayner. The concern about these is that they are very slow moving, so they're dropping a whole lot of rainfall on the areas getting them. But because they are slow movers, it would likely take a while for them to reach the GTA. But we'll hold on to the chance of a quick shower this evening. There's our big weather maker as we make our way into the weekend. Area of low pressure. It is going to bring us some widespread rain, but again, might hold off until Saturday night and into the day on Sunday. So here is the forecast radar. There's about 8 p.m. tonight, so just a heads up on that. Then the cloud cover certainly is going to increase for your Saturday, but any shower activity looks like it could stay north of the GTA, and we'll also get some pockets of sunshine in there throughout the day. It is going to be hot and humid, so if you are heading to the Grand Parade tomorrow, stay hydrated. You are less likely to escape the wet weather if you're headed to parts of cottage country for Saturday. And then, as mentioned, Saturday night and through Sunday, you can see how that rain becomes a bit more widespread, and some areas could get a decent soaking right through the day on Sunday. It will be on and off. Here's Monday, though. We could get some leftover cloud cover in the morning. It should clear quite beautifully, and we will enjoy some sunshine for a good portion of the day. It's hot right now. It's 30 degrees at Pearson Airport, feeling more like 32 out there. Tonight, we remain warm, 20 degrees for a low. That's becoming uncomfortable for sleeping. 27 degrees tomorrow is going to feel like 32 as well. So even with the increase in cloud cover and that threat of wet weather, it is still going to feel quite muggy. A quick little journey Bernie across southern Ontario will show you expected highs and humidex values across southern Ontario, eastern sections of the province too. Again, you are going to find a likelihood of wet weather tomorrow and Sunday in and around the beach communities and cottage country campgrounds as well. 7-day forecast though, lots of sunshine, not just for Monday, but right through the middle part of next week. We will be back near 30 degrees for Wednesday, chance of showers into next Friday. That's the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Still to come tonight, it's a busy weekend in the GTA. We'll highlight some of the things taking place on this civic long weekend. Stay with us.
In the wake of a high-profile legal battle, Health Canada says it will soon eliminate restrictions that prevented gay and bisexual men from donating to sperm banks.
CTV's Rachel Aiello has the story.
Only after this gay man launched a constitutional challenge is Health Canada eliminating barriers that prevented gay and bisexual men from donating to this country's much-in-need sperm banks.
I'm very happy things turns out this way.
Before coming out, Aziz donated to a Toronto sperm bank, helping a lesbian couple grow their family. But after learning federal policy deemed him unsuitable just because of his sexual orientation, he decided to fight back.
Why I started doing this is really the discrimination.
For decades, Canada banned all gay and bisexual men from ever donating to sperm banks. The rules changed in 2020, allowing it if they'd been abstinent for 3 months. Aziz took the government to court in 2023, and a year later, Health Canada pivoted to behavior-based screening. But his legal team argued that change just replaced an explicit ban with an implicit one, and so they fought on. And just as they were feeling confident in the case they'd be presenting at a pending hearing, the federal health agency declared it was updating its donor testing requirements again.
This change represents an important and precedent-setting step.
Alongside new advanced infectious disease testing, as of this fall, Health Canada is eliminating those questions that precluded gay and bisexual men from donating if they'd had more than one or a new sexual partner in the last 3 months.
Quarantine period and then the subsequent testing is absolutely sufficient for the safety of that sperm to be used in donation.
Affidavits filed by experts in the case confirmed the donor procedures already in place are more than enough to protect against risk, including the transmission of HIV.
This policy change makes me very happy because we want to see policy align with science.
LGBTQ2S+ advocates say they're relieved and a little frustrated that it took this long for the government to right a wrong that was based on outdated data and beliefs.
I'm also really filled with so much gratitude towards Aziz for tirelessly fighting this issue.
CTV News requested an interview with Federal Health Minister Marjorie Michel, but she was not available. In a statement, her office said the government, quote, supports changes that make sperm donation safer and more inclusive, while supporting continued public confidence in the donation process. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Earlier, we mentioned the Caribbean Carnival Parade taking place this weekend, but it's not the only big event. The country's biggest electronic music festival is back for another year. Veld is taking over Downsview Park for a 13th year for 3 days this weekend, starting tonight. Headliners this year include Armin van Buuren and KX5.
Taste of India is back this weekend at Nathan Phillips Square. The event is billed as the largest Indian food festival in North America. It features more than 100 vendors as well as live entertainment. Admission is free. The event runs tomorrow and Sunday from noon until 11 p.m. And if you're looking for other food festival options this weekend, Scarborough Rib Fest is on at Thompson Park, and the Toronto Food Truck Festival is taking place at Woodbine Park. Both run until Monday.
And both TTC and GO Transit will be running extra service to get people to events this weekend. And tonight, there'll be a special train ride to celebrate the start of Emancipation Month. Community members will gather near Vaughan Metropolitan Station at 10:30 for a ceremony followed by a nonstop train to Union Station. Organizers say the annual Emancipation Day Underground Freedom Train ride symbolizes the sacrifice and risks that formerly enslaved people faced during their journeys to Canada. Emancipation Day is observed every year on August 1st to mark the day the Slavery Abolition Act took effect across the British Empire in 1834. The latest new cast member for the award-winning TV series Lioness is a Canadian actress who pivoted from the field of science to a career in acting.
Her advice to others looking for a change: take the leap. CTV's Andrea Case has her story.
I understand.
Elizabeth Nerton is the newest cast member of the action-packed spy thriller Lioness, starring Oscar winners and executive producers Zoe Saldana and Nicole Kidman.
You know Honey Pot? I know Honey Pot. I hold the jar.
It's surreal. Sometimes I try not to think about it so that I can do the job. And then once I'm done doing the job, then I can be like, oh my God, this is amazing.
A few years ago, she was at a career crossroads.
It's the tears before you go to bed that nobody knows about.
You give contact to me, and we'll reach out. Maybe.
After studying biology for 7 years, the Ukrainian-born Canadian who speaks English, Ukrainian, Russian, and French did not see a career in the field she got her degrees in. Then she went on vacation with a friend.
And she asked me, what do you want to do? And I couldn't say it. I was so ashamed. What do you want to do? And in that moment, I built up the courage and I said, I always wanted to be an actress. And she looked at me and said, why don't you be one?
That admission was like jumping off a cliff. From Montreal, she crossed the country.
I might get emotional, but you know, the first day when I got accepted to Vancouver acting school, the first day running to the bus, going to school happy. I didn't know that could exist. No one can take that away.
While in school, she scored a role in Taylor Sheridan's Mayor of Kingstown, then off to Juilliard in New York.
I messaged Taylor because I worked with him before I went to Juilliard. And when he found out that I was going to theater school, he was like, that's a great privilege. Go ahead, and I'll catch you on the other side. So I messaged him right before graduating, and he told me, I have something for you on Lioness.
We know what you do.
She plays an international operative who crosses paths with Joe, played by Saldana. No spoilers here, though. She has this advice for anyone considering a career change.
You will regret more not going for it than going for it and not ending up where you thought you wanted to end up. It'll be worse if you don't try.
This isn't the end of a fight.
Season 3 of Lioness debuts on Sunday, August 2nd on Paramount+.
This is the start of one.
Andrea Case, CTV News.
And still to come tonight, with a possible WestJet strike on the horizon, we'll hear from Air Canada customers who say they're still owed money from job action that took place nearly a year ago.
On the markets, the Canadian dollar is down to 71.34 U.S. West Texas Intermediate oil is up almost $1 to 84.58 U.S. a barrel. And the TSX lost almost 280 points today. Canada's gross domestic product beat expectations in May, posting solid growth for a second straight month. Stats Canada says real GDP was up by 0.3%, with 13 of 20 industrial sectors seeing expansion. That pushed the economy to 1.7% growth year over year. Early figures suggest the positive trend continued in June. CIBC senior economist Andrew Grantham says the results emphasize the conclusion that Canada is not currently in a recession.
As WestJet passengers wait to find out the status of their flights, passengers who face delays and cancellations may look for compensation from the airline.
CTV's Kamal Karamali has the cautionary tale of one family caught in a similar situation and the challenges they faced getting back their money.
If this sight of WestJet flight attendants threatening to strike looks familiar, that's because it probably reminds you of this. Air Canada flight attendants walking off the job last summer, grounding thousands of planes, leaving passengers who say they're still waiting for compensation from the airline nearly a year later.
It's frustrating and upsetting.
One of those is this Toronto couple who say they're out $1,500 after they canceled their Air Canada flight to Miami.
was one of the situations where we got so angry, we actually just had to laugh about like how stupid this was.
The two were worried they would miss their cruise departing from Florida. Not wanting to take a chance, they dropped the Air Canada flight, instead booking a flight with a different carrier, flying out from Cleveland, paying extra for hotels and parking. They say Air Canada eventually ended up canceling their flight anyway on the day they were supposed to take off.
We had canceled our flights. And we explained to them, like, we canceled our flights because you're canceling flights the day of, and we needed to be able to get to our cruise. Even if we didn't cancel our flight, you canceled our flight.
But passenger rights advocates say that's the wrong call.
They are really at Air Canada's mercy. They have no rights whatsoever.
Arguing passengers' rights apply only when the airline cancels the flight, not when a passenger does.
Wait until your flight is canceled. Give them a chance to rebook you, and if they fail to do so or tell you we don't have any seats, then buy yourself a ticket on a different airline.
For now, a lesson learned for this couple who have this message for passengers who may be facing the same situation with WestJet's strike now looming.
Keep all their seats. Make sure you email them right away, the customer representative. If they say no, just keep emailing back.
Air Canada says it has given the couple credits for the canceled booking, which it says they've already used, but will not be reimbursing them for the extra expenses like hotel and parking costs. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Artificial intelligence developer Anthropic, creator of the large language model Claude, has admitted its software hacked into 3 companies during product testing. Anthropic says the security breach was discovered during a review of its testing process. The review was sparked by a recent announcement from fellow artificial intelligence firm OpenAI, which says its ChatGPT model went rogue and hacked into another company. Anthropic says it has reached out to the affected companies.
Workers at a pair of GTA casinos are now on strike. Unifor says nearly 900 workers at Pickering Casino Resort and Ajax Casino went on strike just after midnight. The union says this comes after negotiations with the employer did not produce a fair contract. Unifor National President Lana Payne says workers are seeking fair wages and job security.
In sports, the Blue Jays will be looking for a second straight win when they begin a series with the St. Louis Cardinals tonight.
And he dribbles it up the third baseline, and it's going to be a hit, and it's going to be a run.
The team is coming off a 5-2 win over the Washington Nationals on Wednesday. Dylan Cease is set to start for the Jays tonight with first pitch against the St. Louis team set for 7:07 p.m. at the Rogers Center. This is the team's final homestand before the August 3rd trade deadline, meaning it could be the last time fans are able to see some of the players in a Blue Jays uniform.
Toronto FC's not won in 12 games, but they're hoping to change that when they take on New York City FC tonight.
Breaking out some attacking moves, punched away by Johnson. The rebound is finally in.
The team last won back on April 4th and has fallen to 12th place in Major League Soccer's Eastern Conference. Kickoff for tonight's game is set for 7:30 at New York's Yankee Stadium.
The Toronto Tempo announced they've acquired forward Anisha Morrow from the Connecticut Sun.
Yushkaida, a deep one off the glass. The bank at Scotiabank.
The Tempo wrapped up a 2-game set with the league-leading Minnesota Lynx at Scotiabank Arena last night. The Tempo took a lead with a 3-pointer at the end of the first quarter. However, the Lynx dominated after that, going on to win the game 104-72. The Tempo will be back on the court on Sunday when they hit the road to take on Golden State, hoping to snap a 4-game losing streak.
After the break, an update to a story we first brought you last night. Why your trip to the island might be a bit cheaper starting tomorrow. Stay with us. If you're planning to head to the island this weekend, it might be a bit cheaper for you.
Last night, we told you the mayor had proposed a motion at City Council to make ferry rides free for some, and that motion passed.
And that means seniors and kids up to 19 years old will ride for free for the month of August. The mayor says the move is a thank you to Toronto residents for making their voices heard about the proposed Billy Bishop expansion and a celebration of the fact that it was blocked. We asked residents what they thought of the move today.
think it's a great idea. I just wish I knew about it earlier because we decided to come today and then I heard about it this morning. So unfortunately bad timing for us, but great for everyone else who wants to come out in August.
Nice that everybody gets a chance to go to the island. You know, it's not easy to get here for everybody, so it's nice for everybody to be able to enjoy the nice weather.
I have a little one. She is 10 months old, so it is definitely difficult and challenging in these times. So why not let everyone go to the islands for free?
Great idea, yeah. I love Canada.
Very good, plan very good.
We love any investment in being outdoors.
It's really very good idea because I have kids and I have 65 plus seniors. So we like this place and definitely we go again for free rides.
Well, the price of a regular round-trip fare for an adult is just under $10.
And checking in with Lindsay for a final word on the forecast.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that live shot at Nathan Phillips Square right now. Taste of India underway. So many festivals, including the Food Truck Festival happening this weekend, too, in Toronto. Keeping an eye, though, on this satellite and radar. We do have a few cells that have developed mainly across southwest Ontario, but these are slow movers. They could bring up to 80 millimeters of rain to some areas, but that's not so much a concern for Toronto. That big low pressure system off to the west, though, is. Tomorrow, we do have a chance of showers early morning. The bulk of the rainfall should stay away dayside tomorrow. It is going to be warm and humid, and then we do get into some soggy conditions for Saturday, but the sky should clear in time for Sunday with lots of sun expected through midweek. Have a great weekend, everyone. Pauline and Nathan.
All right, thanks so much, Lindsay. And be sure to join Heather Bites tonight at 11 for CTV National News, and I'll have your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a lovely evening.